Hollywood might not have made as many action movies without John Wayne. However, John Wayne was more than just a strong-willed action star and cowboy. It was because he was so patriotic and stood for old-fashioned ideals that Stalin ordered a hit on him. But Wayne had been dealing with guilt and inner struggle for years behind this public face. That could be why the FBI went to his home in Newport after he died. What did they find when they looked past those smooth walls? Will it change the way you see him for good? Here is the shocking truth about a famous American figure. One thing everyone who knew John Wayne, or the Duke as many people called him, agreed on: he really should have died earlier. John Wayne was a man who thought he could not be defeated. He may have felt this way because he lived through some things that should have killed him but didn't. He became stubborn because of this. You don't know the half of what we mean when we say they are stubborn. John Wayne liked drinking a lot. Even though the women he married said he drank too much, he never thought that was true. People who worked with him knew he was a asterisk, 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 but they didn't tell him. Wayne liked to work, but after filming his parts in the morning, he would be so drunk in the afternoon that he was impossible to work with. On top of drinking a lot, John loved to smoke, and he had rules about it that would make a chimney look like it wasn't working. He smoked a pack of cigarettes every day, and he also liked to party a lot. In the end, the cigarettes and drink caught up with him. In 1964, when he was still very busy with his business after his big break in the 1939 movie Stagecoach, Wayne was told he had lung cancer. Even more terrible was the fact that the doctors found the cancer after it was already too late. The last steps had already been taken. Wayne's idea was an easy one. His left lung and 4 of his ribs had to be cut out during surgery. Surgery was dangerous, but Wayne, the man, didn't care about the risks. He told the doctors to do what they had to do, and they did it. After 10 days, they told Wayne that he no longer had cancer. After getting a new lease on life, Wayne continued to drink and smoke, but this time he turned to fancy cigars. After that, he got right back to work and made a bunch of hit movies before cancer came back. This time it was stomach cancer. Wayne finally lost his battle with alcoholism when he died of stomach cancer in 1979. Even after John Wayne died, the action kept going, but this time it was his family that were in the lead roles, but not the way they thought it would be. Some of them were a big surprise. The FBI found his old will when they broke into his house. John left a will that says his wealth is worth $6.85 million. Even though the money was a lot, many people thought John should be worth more because of how hard he worked after getting his big break in the 1930 movie The Big Trail. But John's son-in-law, Donald LaClava, knew why John's money had dropped so much. We'll get to that reason soon. John's will, which was up to 27 pages long, said that he owned $5.75 million worth of things and made $100,000 from his interests. Wayne has been married 3 times and split up twice. Josephine Alicia Sands was his first wife, and they had 4 children together. Esperanza Bauer, who was hot and dramatic and almost shot the Duke in the head, was his second wife. The meek Pilar Palette, who bore him through children, was his third wife. John Wayne set up a trust with some of his money to honor his first wife, Josephine. He told the trust to give her $3,000 every month, and when she died, the rest of her fortune, which was put in trust, should be split between their 4 children. Also, Duke made sure that each of her children would get $5,000 times the age gap between them and 21. So his first child, Michael, who was 44 years old when the will was read, got $115,000. John also gave Michael shares in John's production company, Bat Jack Productions Inc. This could be because Michael has been a top official in Bat Jack for a long time. Besides this, Michael is the 3rd person named as the estate's caretaker. Was he John Wayne's favorite? They also got the same $5,000, times the change in their ages from 21 to the present. But he didn't leave her anything in his will. There were questions about why Pilar didn't get anything because of this. She was his last wife. She also had to go through a lot because she was a part of Duke's life. Duke was going through a very bad time when she met him. Esperanza, his second wife, almost shot him in the head because she thought he was having affairs with his co-stars. They then went to court to get a divorce. In contrast to his first wife, Josephine, who kept her split from him a secret, Esperanza didn't. She was hurt and lost her temper with the man she used to love. In public, she talked about Duke's personal life and called him mean. John Wayne had to protect himself, and he also shot back at Esperanza, calling her drunk. John had to deal with being a show for everyone, so when the chance came up for work to take him to Peru, he jumped at it. Wayne was meant to be looking for places that could be used as sets, but he chose to look at sets in his own area instead. He wasn't interested in the set itself, but in Pilar, who was dancing a seductive dance while wearing a low-cut outfit. Duke introduced himself, and the two started dating. When Duke completed his divorce from Esperanza, they got married. Life with Duke wasn't what Pilar thought it would be like though. He was always busy, so she never had too much time with him. The woman who left her home country and culture for a place she had never been before quickly became lonely. He also sometimes demanded that she go on trips with him, which made Pilar's situation worse and made her nervous. Anything that made noise scared her, so she couldn't sleep. She finally found a way to help herself and started taking sleeping pills. She knew it was the wrong thing to do, but she really thought it was the only choice she had. But it got so bad that she could no longer stand it. Her goal was to die, so she cut her own wrists. She didn't. The crew found her, but Duke didn't go with them to the hospital right away. Instead, he stayed behind to work and sent nurses with her. Just when she thought things couldn't get worse, Duke cheated on her. Pilar took it better than the other wives, but she could only take so much. She broke up with him, but she didn't start the divorce process. After they broke up, Duke hung out with Pat Stacy, who used to be his secretary. He even gifted her $30,000 and included her in his will. The first secretary he hired got $10,000 from him too. What was the point of nothing for Pilar? Even though he wasn't included in his will, Pilar was still one of Duke's biggest fans. She wrote a book about him in which she said he was 80% good, but people in the media only cared about the 20% that he didn't have. She did say though that being the Duke's wife and having a family was hard because he wanted them to be with him and travel when he did, which made things unstable. But that didn't seem so bad after what she said next. From what Pilar says, she got pregnant while Duke and Esperanza were getting divorced. Duke did not want to start another incident because he wanted to keep his good name. She did what he told her to do and got rid of the pregnancy. Still, it seems odd that Pilar was left out of the will. Is there a secret reason for this, or did Duke take care of her in some other way? She wouldn't be the only one left out of the will though. Esperanza, who was very angry, also didn't get anything. It got worse for Esperanza after she got divorced from Duke. She started drinking more than normal. She locked herself in her hotel room in Mexico and drank herself to death when she was 40 years old. Did she get anything if she were still alive? Perhaps. Don LaCava lived, but he didn't get anything. Duke made it clear that LaCava should be left out, and even LaCava didn't say anything about it. He had to go through this because he betrayed Duke. It wouldn't be the first time someone lied to Duke like that. Do you remember how much John Wayne liked to lie? He slept with many people, and Marlene Dietrich was one of them. It was impossible to stay away from her, and the moment she saw Wayne on the set of their movie 7 Sinners, she knew she had to have him no matter what. He was 6 feet 4 inches tall and had a beautiful body. The Duke didn't need much convincing or even luring. They had a relationship that was more passionate than his marriage to Josephine, his first wife at the time. He fell right into her pants. His relationship with Josephine got worse while he was having an affair with Dietrich. Duke was coming over to eat the food she had made for him while she was by herself at home. Duke, on the other hand, was partying like a boy and was very into Dietrich. He put his trust in her, and as his money grew, he asked her for help managing it. A lot of people wouldn't trust him with their money because he wasn't very careful. She asked Duke to do the same thing she did with her millions and gave it to Beau Roos. In Hollywood, Beau was well known. He took care of Joan Crawford's and the Andrews sisters' money matters, hence he had a background. He was also charming and lived a flashy life, which made his customers feel comfortable around him instead of suspicious. They were sure he knew what he was doing. He and Duke became very good friends. Duke was sure he was going to get more money. Things went haywire after that. A number of bounce checks and foreclosure letters were sent to one of the many investments Beau made for him. Wayne, who isn't known for being quiet, told Beau what he thought about it. Beau was said he would do better, but he used what he knew about Wayne against the Duke. Beau was kept doing wrong things. He put $700,000 of Wayne's money into Panama, but Wayne lost it all. He then put in another $1 million, but that didn't work either. John Wayne was poor, but he didn't know it. They went to eat at Saks Fifth Avenue in New York and racked up a $3,500 bill. That's when he realized he didn't have any money left. The clerk was told to charge the amount, which they did, but Beau didn't pay. After 6.5 months, Wayne got a late notice from the business. He asked Beau to pay over the phone, but Beau didn't. Duke was really mad now. It's not in his nature to get angry. He sent Mary St. John, his secretary, to talk to Beau. Beau and I tried to get Mary to come back, but she wouldn't listen. She claimed she needed to see her boss's file and portfolio. Mary was shocked when she saw it. Wayne's checks had almost no money left in. She told Wayne, and Wayne did something about it. When he asked Beau what was going on, Beau told him that Duke didn't have much money left. Duke asked for the exact amount, but Beau said he needed some time to figure it out. Beau was just waiting, so Duke gave him time. After a few weeks, Beau Bo showed Duke what he had. It wasn't worth a damn. He was poor and angry, but he was also partly to blame. Bo used the fact that Duke didn't care to look at his bank records to keep track of his money. Duke meant to sue, but something was wrong. He wouldn't check his accounts, which would show that he wasn't smart, and his business would be open to everyone. Bo was also poor, and he couldn't give Bo. Duke was very sad, but he wasn't the type to give up. Duke got up and worked out his butt. Duke then went to work on different projects, and worked very hard. His relationship with his wife Pilar didn't get better when he wasn't around, and they finally split up. It's said that he had a separation deal with Pilar that included money for her, even though he didn't leave anything to her in his will. He didn't have a deal like that with LaCava, his son-in-law. Duke got his money back after the mess with Bo, but he needed someone he could trust to take care of his money. He then talked to his son-in-law LaCava and told him to handle his money and make smart investments. LaCava should have Lo's money no matter what. In fact, LaCava did that, but he didn't tell Duke until 1965, when Duke went to Dallas and spent $30,000 in a shop. He was mad when he saw the bill and said Duke didn't have that much money to spend. Duke looked at him. He was either shocked or mad. He only told LaCava, "Make sure you have enough cash in the bank to pay these bills." It wasn't. LaCava put money into bad debt, oil wells that didn't produce oil, and other things. Duke had lost money again, so he fired LaCava right away and took him out of the will. Without these money problems, it's hard to say how much John Wayne would have left in his will. It's possible that we don't know how much Duke would have made if he hadn't wasted his money and time. But we know for sure what else the FBI found in his home, and this one shocked a lot of people. It was a secret that nobody could have guessed. He had always wanted to be in the Army since he was a child, so John Wayne chose to join the U.S. Naval Academy, but his grades were too low for him to get in. But the desire to help was still there. Wayne was ready to serve when the United States joined World War II. His age, though, kept him from having to do it at first, and his joining the Army was put off. Duke would not give up, though. He wrote to John Ford and said he wanted to join the Army. He even asked Ford if he could join Ford's unit. After being moved, Wayne was happy to be able to join the draft. His company, Republic Studios, had other ideas, which was too bad. They didn't want to lose him because he was the only big-name star they had signed on. Wayne said he would break his contract, and Herbert J. Yates, the president of Republic, said he would sue Wayne if he did. Wayne got stuck and couldn't serve. He felt bad about what he did, but he still had a plan. He sent his resume to the Office of Strategic Services, which grew into the CIA. He applied to be one of their spies, but they turned him down. But they were still not done with him. Wayne began to visit U.S. sites and hospitals in the South Pacific after being turned down by the OSS. The OSS hired Wayne and gave him a secret task because they thought this would be the best way for him to hide his identity. They asked him to look into whether General Douglas MacArthur and his staff were getting in the way of the OSS's work. MacArthur was in charge of the Southwest Pacific area. Wayne got an OSS certificate of service because he did his job well. Even though Duke did this small thing, he never really forgave himself. It made him feel bad that he didn't help his country when it needed him the most. In order to feel like he had made amends, he made sure that his movies backed American actions, even though it was trendy at the time to do the opposite. Duke also led the fight against players who had communist actors when the U.S. government started looking for them. He wouldn't work with anyone he thought was connected to communism. His friends didn't like him because of this. It made Stalin hate Duke so much that he gave the order to kill him. The Duke, on the other hand, didn't care. He only cared about himself and his family.